So The Last Shift, 2014, Anthony DiBlasi. Later remade as a movie Malum, which now that we're just doing personal asides, when I came out for Sam's wedding to Taryn, right? It was just the two of us the night before, and we're trying to get all gassed up. We're like, what do we do? Do we go to a titty bar or what? Yeah. And he's like, or we each order our own large pizza, wings, and breadsticks, and 2 liters of soda, and we just sit here and eat all that while we watch Malum. And so that's the movie we watched. That is the most Sam before Sam's
that is
wedding.
The most Sam thing I've ever heard.
I'll tell you this, it was great, and I loved The Last Shift because I thought it was a really effective, scary, low-budget movie. Malum I did not think helped out. It's the same guy who redid it, too, I'm pretty sure. So very weird. Here we go. All hail the king of hell. All right, I have no idea. Letterboxd loves these all caps, like, intro sentences, and I have no idea what any of this means. I guess for our movie to be like, the jeans are creamed. Like, I will have to think of something. Rookie police officer Jessica Lauren has been assigned the last shift at a closing police station and must wait for a hazmat crew to collect biomedical evidence. Ordered not to leave the station under any circumstances, Jessica comes to learn that it's more than just an outdated station. It's home to the ultimate embodiment of evil and his devoted, bloodthirsty followers. Jessica is left to fend for herself in the devil's playground.
Okay.
What I found fascinating about this movie, and again, I actually think it's very effective in its scares, which I think is so hard to do on these kind of low-budget, contained, one-character stories, right? So this essentially has just one actress who's walking us through it. Occasionally, a sergeant will bop in, another police officer. We'll hear a voice on the phone. There's a hooker who just likes to smoke cigarettes by a police station. I don't know what kind of tools of the trade that is for prostitutes. I thought that was the weirdest thing in the movie. But essentially, this is just one character, right? Played by Juliana Harkavy. I hope I said that right, Harkavy. And I thought she was really good and up for the challenge. As an actor and as a writer, hell, even as a director, right? The tools in your bag are very reduced when you have such empty, quiet premises, right? And this, again, this gets into like bombastic cult and satanic rituals. There's ghosts, there's whatever. But the fact when you're an actor, you just have to sit and the camera kind of lingers on you and just finds those moments of quiet in between. And you got to carry the weight of this entire fucking film. I actually was really impressed for the scale of this movie, how well they achieved that and still managed for the scares to land for the most part. It's not a perfect film. It's fucking clunky. It's got real rough edges at times. But I got to say, I was really fascinated by this movie when I saw it.
Okay, that's cool.
And you, like a homeless guy, are going to come in and piss all over that?
No, I'm not, actually. I did text you, I'm like, that movie sucked. But
well, no, because this was our exact text. I text you and I go, this movie's only 88 minutes. I almost came. When I saw that, and then you just go, that movie sucks.
Despite my verbosity, let's put it this way. No, I mean, like, look, I can't shit on anybody who makes a low-budget horror movie. Like, it's like essentially you trying to make one location work. Man, if you just don't have, like, every single thing sort of, like, pitch-perfect storyboarded out, it's a fucking task. So, like, to that, like, I have a lot of respect for this. Do I think it's, like, the greatest movie I've ever seen? No. I thought it was actually kind of boring and lame and didn't really enjoy it. But I do think Juliana Harkavy is really good. She's putting in, she does a really good job with, I think, again, she has to do so much heavy lifting.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, like, that alone is probably worth the price of admission. Just to watch an actress who has to pretty much do the whole movie by herself. Like, she does not have a lot to go off of. So,
no, and the script's not really backing her up that much.
No,
the script
not at all.
is very full of exposition and backstory about this kind of local Manson family wannabe cult, right? The Paimon family. And we know loosely that her dad was somehow involved in that case, and it went bad, and she lost her dad. Her mom's like, don't do this. Don't be a cop. We have this idea that she has to stay at the station. Okay. The script devolves into a lot of very repetitive beats, right? This kind of mystery phone call that we know. There's no one who watches this movie with any of the posters I've seen for this, the log line, the trailer. No one is turning this movie on and thinks that is a human, normal phone call for help, right?
Right.
And so as it starts these machinations, right, even the homeless guy that we just have no explanation for, right? There's nothing in the script that is holding our attention enough that she can breathe for a scene. She really, truly is like Atlas lifting the entire weight of this somewhat repetitive and obvious script over her fucking head.
I gotta say this too. Like, this is the other really impressive thing, because I think, like, probably on the page this doesn't read particularly well. Like, I think
like this could be a 55-page script in my way.
Like, this is like, you know, drive speed in terms of like reading through it. Like, you're just like, there's no way there's more than like at best 70 pages. But so I'd imagine this is a really hard read. So I think, like, and by the way, like, that's not an insult. That's just how some scripts work, especially ones that don't have a lot of dialogue. You have to tell
and so
people
for
what's
example, like, maybe the stuff on the page about unfurling the Paimon family mystery is better on the page than it is on the screen. They're just very different mediums, right? Yeah,
exactly. So I think the translation is such. I think the translation probably from script to screen is such an up-res that it probably. I think it's probably why the movie does what it does and works the way it works. Again, not necessarily my flavor in a lot of respects, but I still give it up. Like, there's no way you can't. There's so many technical challenges to being in one location and having to make a mystery out of, like, honestly, like, basically a desk in a corridor. That's hard, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's no way to make that work, and he does, man.
Yeah, and this is such a 1,000% foregone conclusion movie.
Yeah, it's
the
not
moment
like you don't
where
know what's
like
gonna happen.
Her dad died that night, and the Paimon family, was in this fucking jail. You're like, all right, I know the whole movie. Nothing about this is going to shock or surprise me. I just want those good moments of tension, this, that, and the other, right? And again, I think one of the best credits to this movie is if you see the remake Malum, right? It's, let's remake the same movie. I want to make the movie the way I want it to, right? I think a lot of filmmakers fetishize remaking their, like, we had it with Funny Games. We had it with this. Speak No Evil, I think, is also the same director. But you have this, like, I'll take my movie and then I will remake it for more money, right? Some of that is because now we're going to go do it in America or whatever. When you watch Malum, the remake of this, it looks better, it's bigger, it's slicker, all that shit. You just see, you're like, there's not really that much on the bone. There wasn't more to explore. There wasn't more to extrapolate. They do such a good job on this one of kind of keeping the thread tight enough, and that the aesthetics, there's something about, I don't know, maybe this is just if you work in movies or do this a lot, there's something about watching a movie that you know is so resource bare that you inherently have a lack of meanness towards it. I feel like I find myself giving a lot. And when you see Malum, the bigger version of it, you're like, okay, now I'm actually starting to get a little more grumpy. Like, I'm seeing things that aren't working as much because it's like, this is your second bite at the apple and you got more money. Like, you thought that was the problem. That was not the problem.
Yeah. See, I think that's, I don't know how many times I've said this on our pod, but I do think, I truly believe it's like, I don't think money can solve certain problems in filmmaking. Money can solve, like, a location problem. Money can solve, like, getting the right actor, something like that. Money cannot solve the true creative issues in a script or in a movie a lot of the time. And I think, like, people sometimes think, oh, when I have access to better resources, like, no, that's not true. Like, really, when you're at your, like, scrappiest, I'll give you, this is a weird example, but this is the example I think of. Like, if you think about, like, Christopher Nolan's about to put out The Odyssey, okay? It was probably, like, going to be the biggest movie. It's definitely the biggest.
This is the height of resources, yes.
Yeah, like, this is a guy who literally is like, I can wave my hand and a movie will appear. Not to say, but, like, that's what it feels like sometimes, even though that's certainly not what happens. But he can wave his hand and ask for a thing and it will arrive. It will show up because he's Christopher Nolan. If you watch Following, there's the same attitude of, and this is a guy who, you know, this is when he was Chris Mandrake and making a movie on the weekends and, like, took a year and those kinds of things. there's the same attitude and feeling to it, which is, I am going to make the best movie I have available to me at this point. But it's not going to change anything. Even if you had $1 million, $100 million, or $10, which Following basically was made for like $16,000, like nothing. Like, it doesn't change the narrative value of your movie, whatever amount of money you have. And I think that's the thing that trips people up sometimes, is when directors like get a leg up or get their second features, like, you know, they went from $200,000 or like $50,000 to like $5 or $10 million. The story is still what counts. And people, like, the story is always what's going to bleed through. And if you can't get the story across, even with more money, you're not doing it. Like, you're not making it work. That's, I think, that's what I think Last Shift actually does better than a lot of other movies, is like, with, I'm assuming, not a very big budget. Mm-hmm. They put together something that does, like, works, that just works for people. Like, I think that's a coup in and of itself, you know?
Yeah, and it's such a weird filmmaking thing, because I feel like you don't see a lot of bands, other than maybe Linkin Park in those early days, where it's like, we're successful, we made it, like, our first little movie broke through and it did what we want. Let's do it again. Like, there's just, like, artistically, it's such a weird and bizarre thing to do too, where it's like, is that the only idea you have? You don't know another screenwriter? Like, nothing about you wants, and I feel like in the remakes you see that lack of that original passion, right? And that's why I think you have that term in music, the sophomore slump, is because you have this whole life of experiences and desires and passions and influences, right? The things that form you to what you are, and you're finding your voice, and with that voice, I will give forth something to the world.
Yeah.
There's an inherent rawness to it. There's a truth to it. Whereas the second one, you're like, oh, now I got to do what everyone liked about that one. So right away, there's an inherent constraint. There's an inherent this, or, oh, it's got to make X amount of dollars now. It's got to do this. And that's the beautiful thing about independent film versus when you're working at a bigger level, like a Christopher Nolan, right? He's probably so high now he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. But most directors, almost every single director ever, you have studio interference, you have budget resource limitations, all these things. The beautiful thing about working for yourself at low budgets, despite all the pain and agony and headaches, is you can be authentic. You can do it how you want. So I'm always shocked when people go back. And Malum is one of the lamest examples to me. It's such just like a more polished but like hollowed out version.
Yeah.
Of a thing you like.
I think that's kind of the problem with remaking this movie particularly, is why would you remake? You're not proving you can do it. You're proving you just can take the same thing you did and do it again. Like,
right.
I think that's...
And the brilliance of this is that it's designed for the no-budget space. If you then throw all the budget into a no-budget movie, it's not necessarily going to net you much. Like, yes, they got a whole new cast. You know what? They're not as good as this
with the last cast.
Right? You know, there's cooler scares. You know what? It didn't scare me like this one. There's something about... it's just such a weird thing that this one tripped in my mind, that let's remake the... Like, even Sam Raimi, who, again, causes this fetishization. Evil Dead 2 is dramatically different in many ways than Evil Dead 1. It's almost kind of a fresh start with, like, similar beats. Neither here nor there. One of the things I really liked about this movie... Again, because I do think for an 88-minute movie, this movie often feels like I'm also on the clock and can't get out of this building if I want to. I actually think the scares in this movie are delivered exceptionally well. Right? Like, there's some classic, like, oh, no. Because it starts off and it's like, there's a sound. Oh, it's a homeless guy rifling through files. That'll matter. It doesn't. No. Eventually, right, they get locked in a prison cell together, right? Mm-hmm. So she's kind of wandering around.
Which is, by the way, a great scare in a movie.
The cop's doing the, setup. It's so good. He's like, you're a rookie, punk ass, whatever, blah. So there's a lot of this, like, okay, we get it. Like, let's kind of get on with it. We know that she's here by herself. And that really the scare starts. She gets locked in, right? There's also a great, like, little saves the cat moment. Like, she's a good lady. One that she's doing it for her dad she loved, but she leaves the boots from evidence outside for the homeless guy so he can come in and use them to try to kick her ass. Yeah. They're locked in the cell, right? She's got a flashlight and she drops it. It goes dark. And all of a sudden the light comes on. She's like, give me my light back. Give me my light back or else. she realizes someone else in the room, and it's singing. It's like, you're not going to be okay. It's like a little girl sing-song voice, and we realize there's someone else in the room. She goes to the window, and there's like these fucking, Mudvayne video, people with pentagram cloth face, like, "Bah!" and they're shaking, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, the shaking is not good, but like, okay. What do you think, Alex, makes it so hard to capture the kind of tension that you need for these scary moments? Because I would argue that's the thing this movie does the best. And it's the thing that if you're a clever filmmaker, does not add to your budget.
Sorry. So what's the question? Sorry.
Why do so many no-budget films struggle to draw these tensions out and pay them off to make an actually scary scene? Because a lot of people we talk to in the no-budget space, they're like, if I had money. And it's like, the one thing that doesn't cost you money is knowing how to roll out a scare.
That's you know what it is? Honestly, I think this is a really good question. So he edited this movie himself, Anthony DiBlasi.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Look, I truly believe horror movies come together in the edit. Like, I've done now 2 of them, and like these movies come together in an edit in a way that you can't even. You have fun on set, you shoot a great movie, but like when you get into the edit for these movies, if you don't understand, it's not even like understanding how horror movies are made. Because there's plenty of people who edit who don't understand how horror movies. This is about like storytelling and just like base human logic when they're watching something. I think that this movie does a good job like 40% of the time with their edit, like with the edit of like those scares, those jump scares. They're good. Like, they're good jump scares.
Good. Yeah, I thought they were really cool.
I think where the movie starts to kind of flounder a little bit and has like a lot of issues is the problem is with horror movies, editing a jump scare is a talent. But if you don't know how to pace a movie the way it needs to be paced, if you don't know how to pace your story out, you will have the problem that I think this movie runs into a lot, which is when things are not happening. And again, Juliana Harkavy does a great job trying to like keep us all engaged in that way. But when things aren't moving, when things aren't happening, and you're just sort of in these still moments, if you don't know how to cut those together properly, it's very difficult to keep an audience interested until the next thing. And then they've lost like, what is it? Whatever that theory is, but they've lost essentially like 10 minutes of momentum.
5 minutes. Every time the audience is like, what the fuck? But see, this is the trick though. And I think you're really onto it. I think you see this a lot in horror and comedy is that they're timing genres. And some people just have that magical touch. Like they just can feel it. When do I have to pop this thing? Or how long can I drag it out, right? Great. I think a lot about that scene in House of a Thousand Corpses where the camera just raises up and it feels like the movie's almost frozen, right? And then he shoots Walton Goggins, right? Mm-hmm. Great example of, that doesn't add anything to your budget. That doesn't add any time. No. That's just a feel for, it's punctuation, right? It's screenwriting or visual storytelling punctuation, right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I actually somewhat disagree with you a little bit. I'm not sitting here saying this movie is like, wow, this is impeccably laid out. No. But it's kind of one of the defense mechanisms of low-budget horror is if your scares are really good, those in-between times, even if they sag or they're not good or the performances aren't there, whatever, the audience is inherently like, oh, wow, that scare was pretty good. I'm ready for the next one. And then you kind of get this like almost like gerbil getting sugar water effect. Sure. Where you're kind of pumped up for it. And you're more gracious when it comes. You get this little extra excitement, right? Whereas like when I see Lee Cronin's The Mummy, I'm like, yeah, of course you have all the money to fucking do scares and whatever. And it becomes it's hard. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to
I get
everyone.
What you're saying. I think
in this one, the slower moments, and again, I'm not saying it's an artistically brilliant choice. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it's kind of a nice built-in benefit of the premise. Yeah.
Well, I think what's really hard a lot of the time is when you're in the edit or when you're looking at a movie and you're wondering like, what were they thinking in this particular moment? Not like what were they thinking, more like what were they? What's the just
why this choice?
Why this choice? Like, why is this happening the way this is going to happen? And like, I think I think when you have like a solo act like this, that's like probably the hardest thing. Like that's like your kryptonite in the edit is like, man, I have nothing to cut to. I have to follow this person. That's actually that. I'll take back what I said previously.
It's that cunty David Fincher thing where he's like, I just tell my actors, right? If I have to do 15 takes, you better be great 15 times. And it's like, cool, bro. Maybe if you were a good director, you wouldn't need to do 15 fucking takes. Suck my dick. And granted, he's a great director, so take his word over mine. But
I mean, look, Fincher's a great director. He did still have to shut down a show for like 2 days because somebody refused to wear a baseball cap. But regardless, it's just like...
I just saw that clip, and I was like, that's such like a cunty director thing. It's like, actor, do everything great all the time while sorry, I didn't get this right. Like, reset, back to one. And it's like,
I mean...
Hey, let's all work together and be cool. Either here.
Yeah, like, there's many schools of thought on how to direct, how to be on set. I have one. Many other people have others. But I do think, like, when you're sitting there, like, when you're in the edit with your one actor that you have on screen and you're just waiting for the next beat, dude, that is hard. That is hard work to figure out how to, even if they sag a little bit, like you said, like, sometimes you just don't know where to cut. Like, it just is what it is. So you just have to sort of hope that your audience is, and I think maybe that's what's been the problem for me watching this was I don't think I was fully locked in the beginning with her. Like, I don't feel the, whatever the resonance in the story. Cause like, you know, obviously there's a thing about her dad. She did it for her dad, cuddle bug. There's a photo, the whole thing that felt so weirdly unearned from the beginning of the movie that I'm like, so is this about her like trauma or like her trying to like outshine her dad or something? Like that? I think is probably what started. And I think for me, from a storytelling perspective, when characters don't have this like earned trauma within the realm of the story and they're just getting the shit scared out of them, I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. But like when you have those darker moments where you have to like, you know, there is like that long day's journey into night, like those little sections in between the jumpers, you're like, all right, so what's next? What are you thinking? What's you're getting the shit scared out of you. Do you just want to go home or how do you want to do this? Like,
yeah, I mean, most of us after the first time, you'd be like, yep, that's enough for me.
I would have pissed my pants and said I quit and left.
But see, that's the thing, because I've seen this one a couple times and I saw the remake, whatever. I think to me, I actually think this is a really strong start, right? I think they do a good job of setting it up. Because again, you get a lot of benefit from this premise, right? She's a female cop, right? Every other cop we hear from or see in the movie is a man, right? So like that first cop is such a dickhead. He's like, "What are you doing here? I didn't say turn. I didn't." And it's like, "Hey man, can you fucking chill? Like, yes, you're a pay grade above me, but we're both cops. You know, suck my dick." And so you see this kind of like the oppressive, patriarchal structures of the police, right? Yeah. So it gives you this, you know, oh, she's a girl trying to do what her daddy did. Right. And it's like, no, she shows a lot of fucking bravery in this. But not only that, the sergeant's dismissive of her, right? She calls him in the middle of the night. She calls twice. She's afraid to call him for help, and she's literally seeing fucking demons of this famous cult family that killed her dad, whatever. This should be a big deal for everyone. We find out later the reason they're moving the station is because people are seeing all kinds of wild shit here.
Everyone's fucked up at night.
All the cops are like, we should leave this place. But then when she's there by herself, they make her feel bad about it. So she calls the guy and she's afraid. She's like, actually, I'm really happy to do it. Later, she calls him and he's like, is it on fire? No. Are you dying? No. Why the fuck are you calling me? The apple must have fallen really far from the tree. He's already using the image of her dead dad, the heroic fucking cop, to badger her with. You're less than. Because you're a girl doing this, you're less than, right? He's kind of pummeling her with it. Yeah, and he's like, are you going to stay or do you want me to tell the sergeant you resigned, right? And embarrass your fucking dad's memory. Okay. So she stays, right? She sees his partner and she's trying to be cool with him. There's all these moments, right? Like where she has to show such great courage. The homeless guy keeps fucking with her. Yeah. One of the scenes that just fucking gobsmacked me that I thought was such a cool idea for a scare was when she comes out, she turns out of this room and she sees this picture of her dead dad. Mm-hmm. It looks like a crime scene photo. He's dead. This isn't like a happy, smiling picture of him, right? And then all of a sudden there's all these fucking pictures of all the people that this family had killed. And so again, they're really highlighting this kind of like beautiful visual of all these 8x10 pictures on the floor of how much suffering this fucking evil group inflicted on this community. But she's the one who has to stand there and fucking bear witness. She's the one who no one will come to her aid. And when she calls the other station, she's like, yeah, I think it might be a Paimon family thing. They're like, all right, Rook, settle down on the coffee, take a chill pill. And it's like we're watching her confront this thing alone and not fucking get help. And there's a bravery to that in her. And again, I think the inherent nature of all of us, when you tell someone, hey, imagine a cop. Yeah. 99.9% are going to think of a big burly fucking dude.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And so I think there's some really cool kind of beautiful subtext in this one. Right? Even at the end, the fact that her dad's fucking disembodied ghost voice calls her. Yeah. And he's just like, hey, I'm really proud of you. Thanks for doing this. But why are you leaving? He's like, I gave my life for this thing. And you're just going to walk out on it? Yeah. And then her own father, she's so distraught at this moment. Her own dad goes, you know, the guys who did this to me are in there, and I want you to go handle that for Daddy. And it's like, you think her actual dad would want to send her into the jaws of the beast and have her be a murderer? Yeah. Like, it really is very cruel the way it fucking gets into her.
It is like, this is the thing, this is where I think the movie really hits the stride, though, because it does become this, like, shining haunted house thing, which is cool. And I was like, I'm locked in for, like, a solid 40 minutes of this movie where I'm just like, damn, dude, this is, like, that interrogation room scene with the woman, whoo! That's a good scene, man. Oh, my God. That was dope. Like, first off, that actress is fantastic, whoever that was. But, like, I'm like, these are the hints. These are the golden nuggets I want dropped from the ceiling. Like, that's what I want. Like, this is great. And then she blows her fucking brains out, and you're like, all right, well, now we're on one. Like, let's fucking do this thing. And then, like, again, that's kind of where we're starting to really pick up pace. And then that the cop who ends up the ghost cop or whatever, like, there's
that.
Like,
yes. So she's having this is a weird thing. Apparently, if you go to hell, or I guess you could say he's in heaven because he's just a cop who did
the rules,
okay and gets killed.
The rules of going to hell or being murdered in a police station, dope, by the way. Like, you get to come back and scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of sense because it seems like this cult was in a police station and they're like, we do Satan shit because we're cool. You know, we like Paimon, this guy, this. And by the way, if there's the thing that I think is the worst in the movie, this guy is not reading to me as like, that's an inspirational cult leader I would follow on misadventures.
John Michael Paimon?
Yeah.
Paimon? Yeah. See what I did there? See the name?
I get it.
Did you see the name there?
To a John
did you see that? Did you see what I did? His name's Paimon, just so you know.
Yeah, cool, John Michael Paimon. He's not that good in the movie. And I was like, as a cult leader, he's the one I wanted to be pretty cool. But then at the end, he's got like weird, wild pentagram makeup, like he works at a fucking local haunt, and he looks great. But yeah, in the police station, they're saying, this is cool, we can do whatever we want, we're Satan worshipers. Somehow they're left in a big empty room by themselves with enough sheets so they can all just fucking hang themselves, but instead they drape them over their faces, cut pentagrams into them, and die. And then later when we see them, a really cool like monster effect thing is that the sheets have become this kind of like fleshy,
pretty cool
Cronenberg skin, which was really fucking cool. It was very Silent Hill, which I was into.
Yeah, that was into.
But again, it's like, so the cultist just said, all right, we got caught, we fucked up. We made some mistakes. Never again. We're going to haunt the police station? Like, wouldn't you want more So what happens when they bulldoze this place? Do those ghosts just go, fuck? Or can they transfer to a new police station?
They're like actual
why
cops
only her?
now. They're like actual cops.
Why did
I need
they
a
wait
transfer.
for her? Yeah, they already got her dad. Like, there were no other cops that were there that night. What about the guys that fucking interrogated them or brought them in? Like,
okay.
This is what I mean. That's the one thing. And this is kind of this is 2014, right? So this was before the full A24ification of the horror genre.
Yeah.
This is a classic A24 trauma becoming a monster thing.
Right.
Just a little bit ahead of the curve on when that happened.
Well, like in 2023 or 5 or whatever year you want to pick, like this movie would be like Fincher Green liminal horror. and that's like that's the vibe. Here's a question I want to ask you. The beginning of the movie, I know we already talked about it, but the beginning of the movie when she walks into the police station and the fucking old cop is like shouting, do you think he's like, fuck, like he's getting haunted? He's getting haunted and he's like, hey, you're here. Great. Let's get the fuck out. Because that's sort of like at the end of the movie, that was kind of the vibe. So that's
why he's such a dickhead at the start.
Yeah. Like I think he's like, I want to get the fuck out of here because I know what's going on.
Okay, so let me ask you another question, because this was something I had too, because I was like, wow, this guy's coming in real hot. I thought it was just, hey, remember, most cops are men and dickheads. Like, being a cop is just one of those, it's kind of like moths to the flame, right? Like, a lot of guys you knew in high school that were the biggest fucking dickheads and bullies, an awful lot of them seem to major in law enforcement or just want to get into that field, right? There's something alluring about it to the worst kinds of people often. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was maybe, again, not all cops, don't fucking yell at me. I thought that was just kind of illustrating what she was up against.
Yeah.
I did have a big question at the end, though. So at the end, and we're kind of jumping, so at the end, she's running through.
But there's a reason for this. Yeah.
And all of these fucking demons are haunting her, right? They're coming through screen. She sees the pentagram face. The haunting has hit a fevered fucking pitch, right? The good partner cop, the young buck that was with her dad, he has to do the ghost gun himself again for no reason. So I was like, is that him or is that just an image they're using against her even though she's never seen him before? Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The haunting's hitting a fevered pitch and these Satan worshipers are fucking everywhere, right? Well, all of a sudden, these guys come in who look like fucking insurrectionists, right? Like J6 guys. They got the fucking, like, Duluth flannels and ski mask. And they're running around, they're like, we're gonna get you, bitch!
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like, that's weird that you have these dope-ass Silent Hill Satan women and John Michael Paimon himself. But okay, now there's now there's hillbillies, okay?
Yeah.
And she runs through and she's like, she does her mantra, which again, I think every cop should have tattooed on their fucking face. I will keep my calm in fucking bad situations. In the face of anger and hatred and raised voices, I will do good. I will do no harm, whatever the fuck they're saying.
Not a single cop in the entire world has ever thought that.
It seems like a cool thing. As a guy who watches a lot of fucking dash cam pullover videos, these cops are mighty okay with fucking with you and daring you to fuck with their authority like they're a fucking cartman on a big wheel. Neither here nor there. I'm not an ACAB guy. I'm just maybe most cops are bad guys. Neither here nor there. But she starts going after him, right? And so she's taking out these fucking hillbillies. And next thing you know, the one hillbilly's like, and the door's open. Like, she could leave. But she doesn't. She fucking puts two in him. Then she gets shot, and it's the fucking Sarge. And she looks over and she goes, no, no. And it's the hazmat team that was going to clean the place out, right? It's 4-5 in the morning. Did that sergeant come back to meet the hazmat team and relieve her, even though he told her essentially to eat his ass and not mess with him and just stay there and be a loser? But it's one of those moments where I was like, is he even real? Because mighty interesting coinky-dink of timing if he just happens to come back perfectly as she's on the rampage and the team is here.
Doesn't he know when the shift change is? He's the one who tells her the shift change, right?
Is that what it is? So he's coming back because he's on shift change.
I think he's coming back to relieve her because, like, that's the last time anyone's going to be
specifically
in the
show the clock, and I was like, all right, maybe. But your question triggered in me, is he another one of these ghost cops?
I think he's not a ghost cop. I think he just knows that the ghosts are there because he's, like, shouting at himself at the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, okay, so he knows what's up. So I wonder,
and they admit that the whole police force is fucking terrified, essentially, of this place.
They basically say, like, everyone knows this place is haunted. That's why no one's here. And I'm like, okay.
It's like there's a bathroom we see in one scene that's just, like, shit is spackled
just covered
everywhere.
In shit. It is like
so bad. And I was like, wait, but this was an active duty police station a week ago, a month ago?
It's as if the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears fans just, like, shit inside a bathroom.
Yeah. The two teams did a Nathan's hot dog contest and just fucking grabbed each other by the forearms and let it rip.
A Nathan's hot dog contest and then went to a chili con carne festival and then just
And let's wash that down with some white monster energies and see what happens. And then it's fecal Jackson Pollock everywhere.
Just
and I was like, wait, this is supposed to be a police station that just has fucking fecal everywhere. It's insane. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great question. I think they all know their hauntings. Let me ask you another gimmick of the movie. Yeah. I think the thing that works the least in the movie, and I'm hoping that you can help me find a more generous read on it.
Oh boy.
These phantom phone calls are not the bag, because we know no one is surprised, no one is afraid, no one thinks this is going to be an actual thing she can help with, or this is a human woman, right?
Yeah.
What does the movie think it's doing? And also, if you're going to do an auditory moment like that, why do they not push any kind of auditory scare tactics?
This is okay. This is sort of for me, this is like sort of a joke tell thing. Like this is the thing that we always talk about, like when you write jokes, you try to, like, especially in comedies, you try to reference things 3 times. I think when you set something up like that, as like particularly the inciting incident of the movie, essentially, because she doesn't, other than like pulling a hair out of her mouth, which was fucking disgusting at the beginning of the movie.
I will say they do that a lot in Japanese horror movies. That always works.
Yeah.
That always works every time.
And I'm like, well, that's weird. But
fucking
I think the phone calls, the first time it happens, I'm like, okay, it's an inciting incident. And I was like, oh, is she going to leave? Because she's told specifically not to leave the station. I'm like, oh shit, she's going to leave the station because she's going to go like be hero cop and it's going to fuck her up. Didn't happen. I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I think like it's one of those remnants. It's like a leftover from screenwriting where you're just like, well, I promised the phone call. So now that I've promised this phone call, I have to keep the phone call going. And I think like that is something on a first, I don't know if this is this guy's first movie, Anthony DiBlasi. Is it his first movie?
I will check.
No, it's not at all. Not even close, actually. It's like one, two, well, sorry. His first directing movie was a movie called Dread. Okay. So, but for me, it's like one of those things that people leave in a movie or leave in an edit because they've promised something from it. And when you don't, like, the thing is like when people like us watch the movie and it doesn't get paid off, we're like, well, what the fuck was that all about? It's like, well, you were supposed to just forget that he left it in there. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's like a lot of the time. Like, sometimes I'm not even trying.
I don't
to
know,
like,
man. I think they.
I'm not even trying to be glib. Like, it's just one of those things.
I think they thought this was going to be a thrilling mystery moment.
Maybe.
And man, does it just kind of bog down. But again, I think it's one of those. It's also a symptom of she's stuck in this station. You got to have something for her to do.
Yeah, like some
and
outside.
This is at least
influence.
something, and this is their way to try to expand the boogeyman of the Paimon family and the fact that they got caught because they found this girl dead, right? Anyways, I thought that was a little weak overall for a movie that I think really excels and achieves way above its weight class, which I'm always impressed by. Alex!
Yeah.
What's the most messed up moment in Last Shift?
Ooh. That's actually a really good question. You know what? Man, like, that bathroom and pulling hair out of your mouth is pretty gross. Like, those, like...
Yeah, Feeks and hair always do it, but yeah.
You know what? Actually, I liked I liked the way this movie ends with like the voices of the cultists, like basically bringing her into the haunt. I thought that was a pretty.
That's crazy, right?
It's a pretty effective ending. Like I was like, oh, that's fucked up. That's yikes.
Yeah, because we find out that she's hallucinating and these fucking insurrectionists she was shooting
these fucking
are actually
J6
the
dicks.
hazmat suit. Yeah.
Oh, we're here to clean the place.
Yeah,
oh.
And so this is not a justice
Second Amendment,
delivering. This is murder.
Yeah.
And the sergeant shoots her, and as she's dying, this is the cool part about the moment you're talking about. As she's dying, she starts singing the song.
Yeah,
the song that she's heard these ghosts sing. The prostitute put it in her mind, I guess. But once she starts singing the song, it's almost as if she calls to them.
Yeah.
And then from beyond the sergeant, the 3 fucking cultists come up. They smile and they put her fucking sheet on. And now she will become part of this cult in hell and just fucking keep haunting these fucking cops forever. Which is kind of a badass way to go out on your shield. It's like, yeah, they took daddy, but if you can't beat them, join them.
Like, I mean, I think that's mine. I would say, like, that's a pretty metal ending for a movie that I was, like, not fully in on. I was like, damn, dude, that is harsh.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to pick the most messed up moment in Last Shift, I'm going to go with the ghost of her dad's trainee cop. Because it's kind of this nice middle moment where she's like, are you fucking with me? There's this moment where she thinks she's being joked on, right? Like pranked. And she's like, very fucking funny, mature. He's like, hey, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. He also comes from outside, inside, which is interesting. Yeah. Because the whole movie's asking you to wonder if anyone is real or not, right? Mm-hmm. He comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm just here to check on you, man. He's like, I saw that your name was here. I just got to say, I was with your dad that night. It didn't go down exactly how you thought. He was a hero, a mentor, blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of charming. He's got some jokes. You see her kind of relent to the point where she's even like, you know what, to be honest, I'm actually kind of grateful for the company.
Yeah.
And they start swapping cop stories, and you're like, okay, she's going to be fine. She's got a buddy. Like, partners, right? We're trained in movies to think cops have partners, right? She's not alone. It's a weird thing in the movie that she has no partner, right? Yeah. So she's finally found an island amidst all of this fucking insanity and madness. And then he's like, all right, I'll be back later to check on you. Good luck. And as he turns, there's a giant fucking hole in the back of his head.
Yeah.
That he, too, is a victim of the Paimon family.
Great reveal. Yeah.
Or himself, right? We don't know exactly what happened, but we're assuming it's all because of this rude incident. And that moment of, I'm going to be okay, another cop sees me and is not a dickhead to me, immediately being undercut because this is a fucking ghost. This is a dead cop. Is really fucking scary. And it's that moment the movie's like, she's not going to be okay. She's not getting out of this. It really is brutal, and it really fucking sits on you hard.
Yeah. Dude, it's intense. Yeah. Those intense moments in this movie really do land. I'll give them that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think it's one of the hardest thing in horror. And again, I don't think horror movies are only as good as how much they scare you, because scares have different value for different people. Mm-hmm. But this one has really fucking good scare moments. It shows real steady craft in how it rolls out these scary things. It's a really great low budget premise. It's contained. Our lead actress is fucking crushing. I was really impressed with how far I think this movie got. So that's it for Last Shift. That's not it for Nightmare Jobs. We'll see you next time. Make sure you go subscribe to our channel, Misfit Parade, on YouTube. See video versions of this pod, our sister pod, Keepers of the Crypt, short films, all the good shit. Make sure you find us on all the social media you're on. We're there too. And if you really want to be kind and you love us and you want us to be happy, go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon page. The best way to help support, grow this show, and make it exactly what you want and deserve.